do you think if we talk about like carnivore diet, like we touched a bit, like, on a pure carnivore diet, that it's only today, it's only like a steak and salt, like, like Dr. Peterson said, that he eat steak, salt, and water. So do you think that it can lead to some deficiencies? And if to be more precise, like I saw it also on, it's another anecdote on myself, that I saw it sometimes like on my thyroid, that it got a bit affected from some kind of maybe a combination of overtraining and malnourishment,
Yeah. I don't agree with this pure carnivore diet with it. Yeah, just like kind of steak and salt. And Michaela Peterson, the daughter as well, and then Anthony Chafee is a friend of mine, and I know you had him on the show recently too. I had him on my show, but I didn't really agree with him. He's pretty convincing in the moment, but I mean, I've never agreed with that way of doing things. I think that humans have never done that. We've always sought after some sort of other foods in our diet, and throughout history, yeah, maybe we did, 6, 8, 9 months at a time, we could only get meat, and that's fine. But then for the other 3 months, we were getting other foods. There was berries around, there was tubers, there was leaves, you know what I mean? Like, we had other foods and we always sought after them. And even the Inuit, these people up in the north, all different cultures, they work really hard to get some plant foods. They actually trade with other groups of people for plant foods during the winter. They will trade for like different like dried berries or different things, and they will even eat the stomach contents of animals that have plant matter in them. Basically, they go to, like, no culture has ever been purely carnivorous. I mean, theoretically, some people say, oh, during the Ice Age, we were. Well, I mean, I love this research, and I think it's really interesting. And we referenced in the film too that, we have evidence that humans were high trophic level carnivores, and you looked at the nitrogen isotopes in their teeth, and we can see these records, but that was just one group of people, and that doesn't mean they were purely carnivorous. That just means they were eating tons of animal foods. And even in the Ice Age, it's not like the entire world was covered in ice. A lot of people think it's like, oh man, the Ice Age, and they just picture like you're just in the Arctic Circle. It's like, no.
Yeah.
There's parts of the world that were not ice. Yes, a lot of humans were up north where it was super cold, but it was not just you're like living in Antarctica 24/7. Like, that's not how it was. There was plant foods around. We saved them. You can even save plant foods, right? You store them. You can store tubers. People do that all throughout history. You store foods for the winter. So on the other side to it is, I think you don't get these nutrient deficiencies right away. We like to kind of go against the vegan community because they think that they're doing well, and they're like, oh, well, I feel so great. And then a year later, they have all the problems. So I'm just a little bit worried that some of these carnivore guys down the road will have the problems. And Anthony Chafee, I mean, he's saying he's been doing it a long time and it feels fine, but there's more to it. I don't want to get too technical. There's a guy named Bruce Ames. He's a PhD that he really looks into this nutrient stuff, and he calls it the triage theory. And it's basically your body, even if it is deficient in things for a long time, it'll prioritize what the resources it has, or your stores, your nutrient stores, to give you the nutrients you need to survive. And so you can go many, many years with very, poor status of certain nutrients, and your body will still find a way, and it could even shut down other functions where, you're not being optimal. Like maybe some of your organs are not getting the nutrients they need, but your body will keep you alive by getting those nutrients, if you're not eating them, to the right places. So it's sort of a dangerous game, and we don't know, right? Like, I'm friends with these guys, like Sean Baker, good friend of mine. I try not to argue with him about some of this stuff. And
you don't get to it.
No, but it's like, I don't know what's going to happen in 5 years from now. I have no idea. He could be perfectly healthy, or maybe he doesn't know what's going on. Like, he seems perfectly healthy, but maybe he like loses all his hair, or maybe he has like, all these like small things that are happening, and it's because he's just not getting all the nutrients he needs.
Yeah, I like that approach, like what you said, but I you know, we know that the body is, it's the ultimate adaptation machine in nature. Like, if you give it less nutrients, it will survive, but things will eventually pop out, like in some point probably. But it's similar to like diabetics, you know, or maybe pre-diabetics, even, that they go many years with a slightly high blood sugar, but the body can adapt. It's like it do what it takes to survive in that moment, but then you will see there it will have some effects like long term that it will not kill you now. That's many times in diet, and that's why it's hard to argue also with a vegan. Like, I saw that you had a vegan debate also, and that and with vegans you can say sometimes, okay, if you take supplementation, it's not a good diet for now, but still it's hard to debate about it. If someone will be deficient in 10 years from now, you will see it like that he's malnourished, and some experts can say it already, like with your eyes or with your dark circles and a lot of nuance. But many people, most of society, I think, will not notice now.